What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video from His Squad Productions, and today we're going to go over the breaking news which was broken by Paul Schwartz over at the New York Post, and that's Dave Gettleman coming back next year as our general manager. First off, I want to say I understand keeping the continuity and, wanted to stay on course to complete the rebuild, but I gotta be honest, I do have mixed feelings about this, and I'm going to explain why. But before I do, I want to say I don't hate this move, but I don't agree with it. But I'm also going to trust Joe Judge. I'm going to trust him because he's turned this franchise around, and I believe that we will be a better team going forward. I've been on record of saying that, especially when we address our key positions at need and possibly get a new offensive coordinator. Now, Dave Gettleman is 15-33, and honestly, that is unacceptable. You look at GMs around the league who, they got fired for going 8-8. Or you got GMs like Anthony Lynn who, he went to the playoffs and he had a decent season with the rookie QB. Granted, it was a down year for the organization, but Justin Herbert looks like he's going to be that guy, and he just broke the rookie touchdown record. I think that us as Giants fans are aware that Dave Gettleman has been pretty decent in the draft, and he had an excellent draft this year. But we also have to acknowledge the other side of the coin, and that some of the picks in his past drafts haven't worked out, and some of the picks, we still have to wait and see. There's promise in some of the players that he's drafted, but we need to see it come to fruition. Now, if you guys don't remember, or if you didn't know, down the stretch this past season, our second-round pick in Will Hernandez was benched in favor for our fifth-round pick, Shane Lemieux. Now, granted, look, we don't know the reason why, but it still doesn't look good for our high draft pick to be sitting on the bench. There's also players that he's drafted that aren't here anymore, like Kyle Lauletta, Ryan Conley, George Asafo-Ajayi, Corey Ballentine, DeAndre Baker. Now, with the DeAndre Baker situation, in terms of the robbery, you can't put that on Dave Gettleman. But what you could put on Dave Gettleman is the fact that he drafted DeAndre Baker over DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown. I thought it would have been nice to get Daniel Jones, your franchise quarterback, a weapon. But I understand drafting the position in need. But there were questions on DeAndre Baker on his commitment to the game, and obviously there were personality issues, but you really can't put anything else on in regards to the DeAndre Baker on Dave Gettleman. Now, Dave Gettleman, he's had a lot of free agent acquisitions that were questionable, but at the same time, he did have his best free agency this past year, and he nailed every single one of them and even got them on great contracts. When you look at James Bradbury, Blake Martinez, and Logan Ryan, you couldn't have asked for not only better contracts, but better production from these players. James Bradbury is going to the Pro Bowl this year. Honestly, you could have made a case that Blake Martinez and Logan Ryan should have went to the Pro Bowl. Logan Ryan was leading all free safeties in votes. I don't know why he didn't make it, but I also thought that Dave Gettleman handled the DeMarcus Golden situation really well. He got him on a cheap one-year contract, got 10 sacks that year. Then coming off the 10 sacks, he placed a rare tag, got him back on the Giants for a cheap contract, and then he traded him in the middle of the year for a 6th-round pick to Arizona. Now, there are questionable signings that, honestly, when you look at it, I think that they definitely do come from the coaches like Pat Shurmur and James Bettcher. When you look at it, like Antoine Bethea, Kareem Martin. Now, I understand that, players like Patrick Omame, Jonathan Stewart, they didn't work out either. Obviously, you have the Curtis Rileys, you have, B.W. Webb, you have the Alec Ogletrees. There's a lot, just to name a couple names. But while there are questionable signings, there were signings I understood, like the Nate Solder contract, because, Eli needed a left tackle, and he was going to be the highest paid left tackle. Now, you get rid of Snacks Harrison, you get rid of OBJ, Olivier Vernon, and JPP, and looking at it realistically, outside of trading away JPP, those other trades ended up working out. You got a solid right guard in Kevin Zeitler, you got a first-round pick, which ended up turning out to be Dexter Lawrence, and then you get Jabril Peppers. Now, on top of that, you got rid of large back contracts and aging veterans, so I understand that. But at the same time, I don't understand trading JPP and then trading for Alec Ogletree from the Rams and giving him a contract which is pretty much the same thing that you're paying JPP and getting less production. Now, we have yet to find a player that can give us the production of JPP. Now, I think Leonard Williams, in my honest opinion, is the only player since JPP where we got a similar production. I understand Marcus Golden had 10 sacks, but I think that we as Giants fans can agree that Leonard Williams definitely, coming off an 11.5 sack season, made his presence known more on the field than Marcus Golden. Now, I think the Giants' main problem was that they tried rebuilding while winning, and that made no damn sense to me. I think that falls more on Mara for wanting to do right by Eli Manning, and I do think that he genuinely believed that Eli had some years ahead of him, and you can say that's Dave's fault, for taking the job, and I'm sure that was spoken of in the interview process. But I think that falls more on Mara, and I'm sure that Gettleman just wanted to convince, Mara that he could be the guy to turn this all around. And look, Dave Gettleman didn't walk into an easy situation by any means. So I understand both sides of the coins with Giants fans on this situation. You have Giants fans that, hate Dave Gettleman to no end, hate everything that he does, and, regardless of what he does, positive or negative, it's all negative to them. Then you have, the Dave Gettleman apologists who don't see him doing any wrong. So I understand both sides. I'm kind of in the middle. I acknowledge the right, but I also see the wrong, and there's definitely been more wrong than right. While I understand, the whole Dave Gettleman situation, in my honest opinion, when you look at Jerry Reese's worst 3 years, they were 6-10 in 2014, 6-10 in 2015, and 3-13 in 2017, which, funny enough, it adds up to 15 and 33, and that's Dave Gettleman's record. But his record is 5-11 in 2018, 4-12 2019, and this past year we just went 6-10. Granted, there's a lot that goes into it, such as staying with Eli and trying to rebuild at the same time, cap space, bad contracts, aging veterans. I get that, but there's also questionable picks and some decisions that have been made that you really have to. You can really only blame Dave Gettleman for it. Now, when I look at Dave Gettleman and I look at whether he should stay or whether he should go, to me, I kind of look at the Ron Rivera situation. Ron Rivera walked into a pretty horrible situation. He walked into a circus. The Washington football team was one of the franchises that were talked about a lot this offseason. They had scandals, had to get rid of their name, everything. And, Ron Rivera had to deal with cancer, Dan Snyder, distractions, a depleted roster who he was able to turn around. He was forced to play 4 different QBs, and he managed to win 7 games. On top of that, they just had to cut their first-round pick quarterback, not even with him completing his second year on his rookie deal. So my question is, how many years are we going to give Dave Gettleman to build a 7-9 or an even 8-8 team? I understand that we were close and that, yes, there have been seasons such as last year where, we should have been 8-8. We should have been, 9-7. This year we could have been, 11-5. We could have been 10-6, but we weren't. And, our record is what our record is. And at some point, something has to change. Now, look, Dave Gettleman, he's here. He's not going anywhere. So as long as he's here, I got to support him, but I will continue to call him out on things that I think that he is wrong for. I don't think that the Giants would outright just fire him. I think that, they would keep him, and I think that they would, maybe transition him into an advisory role, or if they do get rid of him as a whole, just have him retire. I don't think that they would just outright fire him. That's just my honest opinion. But let me know your thoughts below. How do you guys feel about Dave Gettleman coming back? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know why. Again, me personally, I don't agree with it, but I understand wanting to keep the continuity. I'm going to trust Joe Judge on this. I'm going to trust this organization. I definitely do think that there are a lot of things that we have to look forward to, and I think that we're headed in the right direction. I think that we're going to play with a giant chip on our shoulder next year, and I think that with the schedule that just came out, man, I think that we are going to have a fun season next year. We have a lot of great things coming, guys. For me, the off season starts today. Off season for me is 12 months. Not the off season, but the NFL season is 12 months for me. I don't just watch football for 5 months and then just say, okay, that's it. No, we're going to go over the draft. We're going to go over rumors. We're going to go over everything related Giants. So we're going to have a bunch of content coming up until the next season. And I can't thank you guys enough for staying tuned. Every single video, hitting that thumbs up button, subscribing. I appreciate every single one of you. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts below. Hit the like button as well. Turn the notifications on. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is another video from Hit Squad Productions. You guys be easy. Peace.